So someone gave me a handcrafted earring. Someone gave me a gold Ganesh. Like it's amazing because they say my books have changed their life. But I'm a deeply sensitive person, and it affects me. If you don't accept it, what happens to the gift? It remains with that person. So that's what it is with negativity. I would rather say genres that I don't want to explore.
ഈ മഹാരാജ്യത്തിലെ ഒരു ചെറിയ വിഭാഗം ജനങ്ങൾ മാത്രം സംസാരിക്കുന്നതാണ് എൻ്റെ ഭാഷ. പക്ഷേ ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഭാഷ സജീവമാണ്, ചലനാത്മകമാണ്.
Have you been inspired by one writer or their writing style in particular? And if so, who is that person and what about the style has inspired you?
So, not one writer. I have been influenced by so many writers because I'm also a reader. I read a lot. So, right from childhood, I have been reading. So, if I were to name the writers that influenced me, it would start right from my childhood, right from Tintin to Amar Chitrakathas to R.K. Narayan to Ruskin Bond, and as an adult, probably Audrey Niffenegger, Michael Morpurgo, Roald Dahl. All of these have been influences because I also read a lot. More than a writer, like I feel I'm a reader. I'm a book lover.
Right. So, how does one write like Preeti Shenoy? If you can answer.
I think one should not try to write like Preeti Shenoy because each person has their own individuality. So you shouldn't really try to imitate some other writer because then it won't be your real voice. You should just be yourself and write as you. Don't write like Preeti Shenoy because the Preeti Shenoy already exists. So write as you.
And why do you write what you write about?
For me, writing is a way of making sense of things that happen around me. It's a way of life. I cannot imagine not writing. When nobody was reading me, I was writing. Today, millions of people are reading me. I am writing. Why do I choose life, relationships, positivity, hope, mental health, gender inequalities? I write about issues that deeply affect me. So I see things in society which are happening which we probably can't do anything about, but I'm a deeply sensitive person and it affects me. So my way of creating awareness about it is through the stories I tell, which are read by hundreds of people who can probably see what I feel through my characters. So that these are all issues close to my heart because my books, while the language might be simple, there are also deep issues like gender inequality, socio-economic class divide. My latest book, on the face of it, it seems like it's just a love story because when you see the title, All the Love You Deserve, you think it's a love story. But then when you read it, you see the layers and layers because we all don't start at the same point. We all have different starting points. So all the three characters in the book comes from different class. So all of that you see in my writing about issues that affect me.
Since you mentioned your latest book, has Preeti Shenoy as a person received all the love that she deserves?
Totally. In fact, I've received more because I get mails from hundreds of readers. People come and give me gifts, which I'm always moved because for me, I'm just going for an event. So someone gave me a handcrafted earring. Someone gave me a gold Ganesh. Like it's amazing because they say my books have changed their life, and for me, it's very overwhelming. So I would say I have absolutely got all the love I deserve, maybe more. I'm very blessed and grateful for that.
And you talked about all the love that you deserve, but being a writer who puts herself out there so much, I'm pretty sure you must have received some amount of negativity also. What is one thing that really affected you, and how have you trained yourself to move on from it and put yourself out there again in your own name?
So the thing is, when somebody gives you a gift, and Buddha said this, not me, if you don't accept it, what happens to the gift? It remains with that person. So that's what it is with negativity. So if they give me negativity, I don't take it. So I don't accept it. So that's not to say that I don't pay any heed to criticism. So sometimes people say things out of jealousy. It's more, and it comes through. The moment you read that review, you know. Sometimes they might have a valid point, and I take that and I try to improve myself. And the first book, it will really affect you. It will probably shake your confidence. But the advice I would give is that if you believe in the stories that you tell, you will get so much positivity that little negativity will not affect you. So I just brush it aside, and because writing is what I do, it's like this. If somebody criticizes you for breathing, will you stop breathing? You won't. It's life. So for me, it's life. And like I said, I was writing even when no one was reading me. So it doesn't matter. Even if nobody reads me, I'll still write. I have like multiple journals. At the end of the day, I sit and write in my journals. I'm also an artist. So I paint. Every day I do an illustrated journal. So honestly, I feel when you focus on what's going right, you will not bother about whatever people say, because people will say things. People are like I would say malicious creatures, if I may use a strong word. Yeah, that's how it is, and you just got to move on with your life.
I heard you talk in a TED talk that you gave. You described the story of how in school you wanted to be a part of the basketball team, but when you first tried out, you were at the bottom of the 68 people who tried. But the next year, you practiced every single day,
Yes.
which is quite, I wouldn't say unnatural, but it's a superhuman quality. Where do you draw that grit from? Because it's very uncommon. It's absolutely uncommon. How does Preeti Shenoy draw her grit from even as a kid?
As a kid, I guess it's because I wanted to prove something. Because my father had a transferable job. So every 4 years we would go, and I had to fight hard to be accepted. So how do you be accepted? You become excellent at things. Then you're accepted. So I would, and these were things I loved. I love sports. I love fitness. So for me, it was not a big thing to practice every day, because it was something that I badly wanted and I loved doing. So people ask me, how do I do so many things? But it's just genuinely because I love doing it. I'm doing it for myself. So I think that makes a difference when you're doing it for yourself. Like every day, nobody pays me any money to sit and make an art page. But I make it every day and I post it on Instagram. I have an Instagram art page. It's called Preeti Shenoy Art. So for me, those are things that give me joy. It's who I am. So, and I think it's very important to have something where you can lose yourself in, so that whatever changes are happening in the outside world, you have that as an anchor. So probably in my childhood, I had basketball as my anchor, and I had writing as my anchor, and now writing and art are probably my anchors.
And needless to say, you would be a person. I don't want to ask if you're disciplined, because you would have tremendous discipline just to produce like 16 books
Yeah.
within this a span of this short time.
No, not short time, 16 years.
But yes, to
Sorry,
produce-
15 years. Sorry, 15
Yeah,
years.
but
16
the
books, yeah.
amount of work also that you've produced.
Yes.
It's given that you're a person with tremendous discipline. So how does a day, when you're actively working towards a book, how does your day look like?
So that's the thing. So off late, I have been traveling so much that my writing was taking a back seat. So then I said, no, I have to write. So yesterday I had a session, but before I came for the session, so I kept an alarm on my phone because I forget when I start writing. So at 10:40 it said get ready. So I got ready, but till 10:40 I was writing because I said I have to finish this book now. So it's a series of conscious decisions that I take, because I think at each point in our lives we have a choice, and I think one bad choice will lead to another bad choice, will lead to third bad choice. So I think it's to catch it when you're making that bad choice, catch it and change it. Like for example, I work out regularly, so I say that you will not feel like working out on some days. So then I tell myself, okay, doesn't matter. You just go and walk 10 minutes on the treadmill and come back. But I know that when I go to the gym, I'll change my mind. So it's only that inertia to go there. So when I go there, I lift heavy, I do my workout and I come. But I tell myself, so sometimes we have to fool ourselves by saying we'll do only this much and then push ourselves a little more.
Is there any genre that you would want to explore further?
I would rather say genres that I don't want to explore. One is horror. I'll never write horror.
Any
because-
particular? Yeah.
No, I don't like horror. So, and I feel like there's so much going around in the world. Why do you want to fill your head with somebody else's nightmares? So I will not write horror. I will not read horror. But apart from that, I'm quite an avid reader. I read everything, right from children's book to prize-winning books to what you call light reads, which you can finish quickly, poetry. So all of that I love reading.
If there is one particular book that you would want somebody so close to you, or your son or your daughter that you would say is a must read? Which would be that book?
One is actually hard to choose because I'm a reader, and I have reviewed more than 200 or 300 books on my Instagram. I put in my highlights. So lots of books, like it's very hard to choose one. So recently, off the top of my head, I would say if you are new to reading and you want to get back into reading, or if you've lost touch with reading, I would say Midnight Library. Read it. 10 minutes 38 seconds in the Strange World. Read it. Tattooist of Auschwitz. Read it. Stationery Shop of Tehran. Read it. All these books are beautiful books. And Beneath the Scarlet Sky, that's a great book, because all these books transport you to a different world, a different land. But even if you don't read any of these books, please read, that's all. And pick up a book which speaks to you and which you feel like turning the pages. It doesn't matter what others recommend, don't recommend. Just turn the pages and start reading.
And just one last question: what is the legacy that you want to leave behind, or rather, what would you want people to think about when they hear the name Preeti Shenoy?
I would say positivity, hope, love, kindness, hopefully. I want to be remembered as a kind person. And for me, one of the most difficult things I did was, I never thought I would do this. I wrote a self help book during the pandemic. And that was one of the hardest things I did, because at that time, you know how the pandemic was, and we didn't know whether we would be alive or not. So I said, what is it that I want to tell my children? And I wrote all of that. I pitched the idea to my editor. She loved it. I said, whatever I have learned so far. And then the book began taking shape. The book is called The Magic Mindset. So there's magic minds and positive. So it's toxic positive. Sometimes it's not possible to be positive. I mean, how are you positive when you've gone through grief, you've gone through loss? So I talk about all of that. And that book, I would say, is very close to my heart, simply because I didn't know whether I would be alive at the end of the pandemic, and I wanted to leave something for my children. And a lot of people have benefited from that book. So I did something which I never thought I would do. So that's one book set on hope during the pandemic, but which will be relevant even when the pandemic is gone, because I knew that at some point the pandemic would end. And then I wrote All the Love You Deserve, which is set in the post-pandemic times. Because with post-pandemic came all the other problems, like a lot of people had graduated online, they had never even been to college. Then you don't have focus, you don't have connections. So these two books, I would say, were hard to write, and I'm proud that I did it.